Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of the Kashif Booth podcast. If you're new here, each week I sit down with a guest and we discuss their career so far, the highs, the lows, and what's next for them. Today's guest is Anwar Ali, and he is an actor writer based in LA. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate this.
Thank you for coming back well, not back, sorry. See, that's just me like speaking into existence. You're coming back, you're coming back. But thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
Good, good. Well, this is like my hiatus coming off a break. So I have been doing season three from last year, had to take a little hiatus. My listeners know there was a bit of drama, so yeah, so it's good to kind of resume season three. It's good. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So not like for my show, but just like personally, professionally. So, making a podcast is expensive. So I was like, do I want to do it by Zoom? And I'm like, I don't know. So yeah, so it's back. Season three is back. So it's good to kind of have another actor on board to continue this season. So how are you doing?
I'm doing really well.
Yeah.
I'm in a very good place in my life. I feel restored a little bit, like I got some rest that I needed.
Okay, good, 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 good. Well, you're based in LA, I'm based in London. So right now it is 9 p.m. in London. So you see, I'm committed to this. Okay, I'm committed to this.
Absolutely. You
Yeah.
stayed up for this.
Yeah, yeah. No, I mean, it's only nine, it's not that late, I'm still
Right.
chilling. But it's like, what is it, 1 p.m. over there in LA right now, isn't it?
Yeah. I barely got my day. I mean, I had my day started. I did an
Mm,
audition already and everything, but
yeah.
um, my day hasn't even really begun, and I feel like yours is in it. That's just crazy to me.
Yeah.
That,
The time difference, the
uh,
technology as well. So yeah, so it's funny. So we kind of connected through TikTok. So I have been following you for a long time actually. Like I love your content. I love the stuff that you talk about. And I remember just seeing you follow me back and I was like, oh
yeah.
wow, okay. This is my one of my favorite TikTokers. So
Sometimes I think TikTok has a way of showing you people that have followed you or have liked your stuff that they
okay,
think might be more connected to you. Because, like, I
okay,
saw a picture of a person pop up and I was like, well, he looks like a filmmaker, right? So I just literally clicked on it and I saw what
okay.
you were about and what you were doing. And so, yeah, I followed you back.
Oh, nice. Okay, okay, cool. Well, it was good to connect, and thanks for coming on here because I feel like I love your brand and I love what you talk about as well. And as an actor, and the insight that you provide to your audience, I can relate to because everything you're saying makes sense. And you know how the internet is. People have so much opinions, but they know nothing about the industry. And so that can be quite annoying.
Yeah. I I feel like and I didn't know that this was what I was doing because I honestly thought everybody knew everything I knew. Like because there's stuff that it's not just stuff that I've learned through like school and like
Mhm,
in the industry itself. It's I've been following the industry and how it moves and how it works since I was like
mhm,
4 or 5 years old. Like when once I got the internet, the first thing I ever Googled or
mhm.
I used to Ask Jeeves was the Wiz because I wanted to know about like what went into making it. And I knew that like from a young age. So when I went on TikTok and I started doing these videos and people were like arguing with me about like basic facts that I'm like, oh wait, I know this.
Yeah, yeah, I
For
understand.
decades.
Uh-huh, uh-huh. I totally understand. And it's yeah, because I've kind of switched my content a little bit now where I'm talking a lot more about the industry and the politics of it all and a lot of Black British film and TV history because not a lot of people know about it. So I'm kind of like educating my audience, but I have people fighting for their lives in the comments saying you're wrong. It's like, do you really think I did do research on this? Like to know what I'm talking about. So
They literally will correct you
mm-hmm.
with the wrong fact. I'm like, but
Yeah.
also you don't look things up, and so you assume I am the right, and you we could just be equals, right? No, actually, like,
Mhm,
but a lot of that I don't even research before I do
mhm,
these videos. Like it's
mhm.
already here, so like
Yeah.
I know I'm right to the point where I
Mhm,
don't have to look, and when I am a little shaky on it, then I'll
mhm,
look, which
mhm.
is what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I don't want to be those people spreading misinformation on the internet. Those people irk me a lot because I know you're wrong and you're saying the wrong thing, and people will just believe it because, they've seen it. So
There's a lot of those videos kind of like,
mhm,
and it's the or just kind of use rumors as fact,
mhm.
or or they will say something that is actually impossible, like a film could never do that. Like, like,
Yeah.
yeah, no, I get it.
Mhm. I get that. So you're an actor. How did you get started?
Um, it's funny. As the thing about me is like
Mhm,
I grew up thinking I wanted to be a filmmaker. And it's because I was so into films and talking about films. And I mean, I was like 3, 4 years old and I loved live action films that were for adults. Like I liked story.
mhm.
And so I think my family, like, they had no concept really. Like they know there's actors and directors, but in some way I think they thought I was drawn to the film part. So I grew up thinking I wanted to be a filmmaker, but what I would do is I would be doing voices and playing different characters. I would reenact any film I ever saw with like toys and things like that. I would record them. Um, so I grew up doing that. Then I went to film school and I realized I didn't really like it. It's not that I didn't like it, it's just that I had a really bad experience and I think that was like some kind of cosmic thing saying get out of this. You don't need to be a part of this.
Okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And then I just kind of floated for a long time with school. I hadn't been in a play. Um, the first time I was in a play was 11 years ago. Um, because I knew there was something I needed to do. I went to this one class um, when I was like going to a community college. I took this one class. It was a film class. I was like, let me give it another shot because maybe this is what it is. But in this time where I was searching for like what I wanted to do, I was consuming so much media, so much film. I was taking it all in. I was researching about actors and didn't know I was. And so I took this class and one of the actors dropped out and they needed somebody and they asked me to do it and I really kind of wanted to do it. And so I did it. And that was the first time I've ever acted in front of anybody outside of, imagination.
Mhm.
And it felt really good. So I started taking more classes. I started to just figure out what this thing was. And then I was like, I want to go to grad school, but I didn't have an undergrad degree. So I was like, perfect opportunity for me to like go to school. So I'm gonna go to a little tiny liberal arts school that has no people at it, so I can get all the experience I need and get on the stage. And
Mhm.
so my first play I ever auditioned for is the first play I ever did.
Mhm.
And it was in college. And I just like, I'm gonna be an actor, so this is what I'm gonna do because it felt right. And I just followed this path. And so I did that. And then I found myself actually going to grad school. I went to Brown, I got my Master of Fine Arts in acting. Um, and, things just kind of lined up for me in a way that set me on a path to actually seek the thing out. But I was always kind of immersed in it, I think. Being an actor, I think, was always the thing. Maybe that's why I was watching those films like that because I really am drawn to the actors, I'm drawn to the story, and I'm drawn to the way people are because I also like to people watch. Like all of this stuff kind of came together. I was always an actor. It took me until my 20s to do it.
Nice. Well, it's never too late. That's the thing. It's never too late. And you found your purpose. You were, like you said, you were in the realm, and then you just need to figure out what your creativity is going to be in that moment and in that industry. And you've done that. So that's really good. So tell us about how you got the role as Andrew Young in the Genius series MLK/X recently, which only just debuted like what, last month?
Yeah, it debuted the in February. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So what was that experience like, and how did you get that role?
So it was my first like real on camera thing I did.
Mhm.
Um, but to like give you a little backstory, I graduated from Brown, which is considered to be one of the top schools, but I also graduated in 2020. So there was no industry showcase. I was not put in front of any agents or managers or casting directors like we were promised, right?
Yeah.
So that didn't happen. And was I bothered by that? No, because I kind of felt like something else was going to happen. So I just was like, everything's going to be fine. And I was in LA before grad school and I kind of wanted to go
Mhm.
back. So I just went back to LA. And, I've been just kind of chugging along as an actor.
Yeah.
Haven't gotten any major credits, but I built up a reel. I built up some connections. I got opportunities. I've even went through different managers where they weren't able to get me anything, like literally anything.
Hmm.
Like there's a difference. Like I'm not saying I was getting auditions and I wasn't booking them. I
Yeah.
wasn't getting the auditions.
Okay.
And one day out of nowhere. I mean, I was going along and things were kind of feeling like they were coming together. But one day out of the blue, someone that I went to grad school with, who was not even in my class, Maria, she was the year ahead of me. She randomly like messaged me on Instagram and said, "There's this casting director who's looking for a reader," and I thought of you. I don't know why Maria sent that to me or why she thought of me, but it was one of those things where I got it and I was like, okay, I can do this today. They needed the reader that day. So I went to the casting director, Victor Vasquez. I was like, I can do it. He said, yeah, okay, great. So I went in and I did it and it was fine. And I didn't really care. I was not trying to make fans. I was not trying to be anything other than somebody who's coming in and doing my job and giving the best I can do, right? So
Hmm.
I came in, I did that, didn't think anything of it. They kept asking me to come back for months to come in as a reader. So when I went in as a reader, it's a person who's like reading with the actors. The actor comes in on Zoom and they are doing the scene, and I'm just the person that's playing the other characters with them. But what I didn't know when I went in was that it actually was the producer session. So I was the reader for the entirety of the producer sessions for the show, which means I was in front of all of the executive producers, I was in front of the casting directors, and I was in front of the director of the series. So I'm sitting there and I'm like, oh wow, all these people are seeing me. That's cool. Whatever. Um, so I was the reader for that, didn't think anything of it. Initially, I thought, oh, I was going to be the reader that day, but they kept asking me back. And in my mind, I was like, oh, it's because they can't get anybody else. And then it clicked. And it's like, no, they want you to come back. They just want you to do this job.
Hmm.
So I did it, didn't think anything of it at all. But I had these connections with these people. And then one day, a friend told me that there was like a breakdown for a character that she thought felt like me. So I reached out to the people that I knew, the casting directors, and some weeks went by, but they did come back to me and they were like, yeah, we want you to put this on tape. And I think what was happening was that role was being cast out of Atlanta, and I am based in LA, and the casting directors that I knew were not the Atlanta casting directors. So the casting director that I knew, and I was kind of like, this is like one of those like blessed moments. Kim Williams, the vice president of casting at Disney, personally called and worked that out to get me that job, and I ended up
Hmm.
getting, yeah, Genius.
Hmm.
Um, which was a much bigger deal than I even realized. I mean, like I got there, I was like, "Oh, that's a real show," like this
Yeah.
is a real show. There's like real people working on. So yeah, I mean, it kind of was just like a lot of people and a lot of things working in my favor, and everybody did their part.
Hmm.
Um, and I'm grateful for all of them for what they did.
Nice. Nice. So when you went on set, like what was it like? Were you nervous or did all the nerves go away and you just kind of fit it into the role?
It's funny. I got cast on a I
Hmm.
got cast on Thursday, and I
Hmm.
had to be in Atlanta by Sunday, and I was filming by Tuesday.
Oh,
So,
okay.
some of the nerves was like, oh my God, what am I gonna do? Like, it wasn't even
Hmm.
about the acting itself. There
Yeah,
was
yeah,
so
yeah.
much nerve surrounding the entire
Hmm.
experience and trying to make it happen in so short of a time that I didn't have time to really worry about the acting.
Hmm.
But I went into like for the fitting, and I'm realizing, oh, like these are actually like clothes. They're fitting me for the show. And then I'm going on the set tomorrow.
Hmm.
I filmed over the course of weeks, but what was really cool was actually my first scene that I ever filmed for television is not on television, and I love the
No.
like my very first day on set is not
Mhm.
documented on camera, and I mean, it is documented on camera, but it's not documented for the public's consumption, and I'm very excited about that because that was the day where I was really getting the kinks out,
Okay.
and but I wasn't, but it was still a really good experience, and
Yeah.
turns out. when I got there, the dialect coach actually went to Brown years ahead of me, so we had that in common, and we spoke the same language.
Yeah.
Tangela
Mhm.
Large. Yeah, no, it was a nice experience. My first day, Kelvin Harrison Jr. He wanted the director or something to know something. And so he told me, go tell them that. Like, we'll just like open the door and yell it out. And then I kind of hesitated a little bit. And he walked over and he did it. And that was one of the most oh, that's how you take charge of a set and lead a
Mhm.
room. You know people will listen to you.
Yeah.
And you also know they won't listen to someone else.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, that
Mhm.
was the first day. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You're not gonna say a thing. You're gonna be like, I'm here, I'm grateful for the opportunity. I'm just gonna say yes, no, and thank you, and keep it
I'm a
moving.
big right. Yeah, or
Yeah.
like, what do you need from me? Where you need
Yeah,
me?
yeah, yeah,
Like,
yeah. Oh, you need me to
oh, I'm
stand
right
here?
here.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm right here. Like, never wander off too far on your first day.
Mm-hmm. 100%, 100%,
Yeah.
100%. So what was it like for you to play Andrew Young? Like, what did you do to prepare for that role?
Well, I looked at all of the footage that I could. Well, first off, I was trying to before the audition, but I
Hmm.
auditioned on the same day. So whatever they got in the audition was me.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Uh-huh.
But really, it is just like taking in a lot of footage and like
Hmm.
in his words, reading what he's about, even reading what like a big
Hmm.
part of it is understanding
Yeah.
what these different positions and roles are
Hmm.
within like the Southern Christian Leadership Conference. Because I'll be honest with you, like we had Black history. I went to very Black schools. Our schools were very they taught us a lot about Black history, but
Hmm.
there's some very specific things like that we've
Hmm.
never been taught. So I'm like,
Right.
well, okay, I know Martin was marching, but what was the actual organization? What were they
Okay.
actually doing, you know? And so
Mm.
it was
Okay.
that, taking in as much of that as I could, and also just kind of trusting that like whatever they saw in the audition is
Hmm.
also part of what I need to bring. Like there is an element of bringing myself into it
Yeah.
somehow, some way,
Hmm.
'cause you can never take you away.
Hmm.
So it's really that, just researching and
Hmm.
being present.
Did you look at his body language, the way how he pronounced certain words or certain little things that he would do? Because like Michelle Obama, when Viola Davis played her, she famously did the whole lip thing. Like, did you look at characteristics about Andrew when you were gonna play him?
Yeah, I mean, like there was he
Hmm.
always had a more furrowed brow, so I
Okay.
actually kind of just started to do that. But like when I would have
Hmm.
time in the trailer, I would also just look at him posing
Okay.
and um, emulate the body language, not so much so that I can repeat it on set, but
Hmm.
so that I can just get into the feel of how do people in this time period move, how do people in this
Hmm.
time period like flow through the world, and also just kind of picking up a lot from the other actors that are around me that have been on
Hmm.
set for like a couple months before I was,
Hmm.
like Kelvin as Martin or Hubert as Ralph Abernathy. Like they were embodying this energy, and so in a lot of ways I emulated and I tried to like just we took a class in grad school called contact improvisation,
Hmm.
and it was just like I was trying to viewpoint my way into flowing with them a little bit. Like,
Yeah.
how do I feel them, and how can I just naturally get into this space with them?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a really it's physical to me,
Hmm.
like or not physical. It's internal. It's like an internal thing that just makes you physically flow out. I don't know what I'm talking about. This is
Yeah.
like a genuine, like process thing that I've been doing for a while, and it makes no
Hmm.
sense even to me sometimes. But yeah, how do you flow into it?
No, it makes sense because when you work with actors so closely, and I've done that for such a long time, they embody the character. So they come on set as the character who they are. And so that's who they are in the moment. That's who they are all day. Sometimes it takes them a while to take that person off. People laugh at Austin Butler for still having the Elvis voice, but they don't understand, like, when you encapsulate such a figure like Elvis, it's going to take a while for you to kind of shake that off. Like, and that's what I get what you're saying.
Yeah, well, a big part of it for me was also my hair because
Hmm.
I was just starting to grow my hair out,
Okay.
and I didn't want to really cut it, but
Mm.
they cut it for the show. Now they didn't just trim it. They they reshaped my hair to look like him. So I
Yeah.
looked like him all the time. And I
Okay.
stopped looking like me. So I would find myself, and this was in a lot of my TikTok videos,
Mhm.
where I would put the hood on and
Yes, I
I would
remember
cover
this
my
time.
hair.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I would also like just kind of wear a hat or something inside. I would do all of that to cover my hair, and I stopped identifying with my own hair. So like it took me actually, like I was in a funk for a little bit. Like I kind of was upset until my hair could go back my own, like at least in some way reshape it to something that seems more me.
Yeah.
But like y'all know, I felt like I was living in the
Mhm.
60s
Mhm.
for every day.
But it was like 2000 and what? When did you shoot it?
We shot in 2023, yeah, beginning
Okay,
of 20.
yeah. So, and it was just before the writer strike, an actor strike. So that's good.
Right.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, nice. So, what would you say was some of the biggest takeaways you got from that experience as an actor?
Um, I guess like the in terms of like technical things, I learned a lot of
Mhm.
technical things just by
Mhm.
being on a set of that magnitude, right? But what I really picked up on was you got the job.
Okay.
You're here.
Mhm.
So it's like this moment of just actually just accept that wherever you are is
Mhm.
exactly where you need to be. Um, because yeah, I had moments where I was just like, yeah, I'm actually here. And it wasn't an imposter syndrome thing. It was genuinely like you actually need to take this in and acknowledge what is happening.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, no, and take up space. Like and it's okay to take up space. It's okay. You're here. You
Mhm.
got the job. Um, and so that when I found myself not necessarily having input, because they didn't look to me for that right at the moment, but
Mhm.
what I did have was like, oh, you can be here with these people. You can have fun with them.
Mhm.
It's your space too. I remember like there was a moment I kind of felt like I was always by myself and the other actors would be talking. And then there was this moment where Kelvin started like pretending he was doing interviews for the press junket for the show that wasn't finished filming. But he's like, let's pretend, right?
Mhm.
So he's talking and he's getting interviewed, and then he starts interviewing another actor. And then at some point he looks at me and he starts interviewing me. And I was like, oh, I am here with you.
Mhm.
You see me as much as I see you.
Yeah.
So yeah, like that, just the confidence of like you deserve to be here.
Mhm.
And also, like I said, with Kelvin, just learning how to operate, because that's another one of those moments of like, welcome people, bring them in,
Yeah.
make people comfortable.
Mhm.
Take these moments and lessons in, because there's gonna come a time where you're going to have to be this person.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I learned.
No, I love that. I love that. So how was it for you to have such a great opportunity like that? And then last year is the big writers and actor strike. Like, what were you thinking of like at that time?
I was like, well, I mean, I hadn't been getting any auditions before, so I guess it doesn't matter, right? No, listen, at the time, I
Mhm.
actually, when I booked the show, I didn't have any representation at all. Um, but you know, you kind of need an agent to like negotiate the deal. So my friend told her agent about it, and he decided to take it on. So we worked together for the duration of doing the show, right?
Mhm.
So when the strikes happened, I was like, I still don't have any agents, I still don't have any managers. It's fine. But he was on the back burner, like for me to actually reach back out to him. And so I think right before the strike, I was like, hey, you want to work together? He was like, yeah. But what he said was, he was like, don't expect anything soon. It's the strike. And I was like, you're exactly right. So
Mhm.
I think I leaned into a lot of content creation during that time. I genuinely was not worried. I was like, everything aligns in the way it's supposed to. My life a is proof of that. And honestly, I was like, I don't feel like I lost anything. Now, there's other people that were dramatically affected by it, but I
Mhm.
didn't want to center myself in a situation that wasn't ultimately affecting me. Like, obviously, I support it, but what I mean is like, I'm not the one that's actually hurting. I just support this for the betterment of the future and for people that are currently in
Yeah.
desperate need of help, right?
Mhm.
But for me, it was like, oh, this is just the time to work on me and my
Mhm.
craft and get even more ready for whenever this is over, because it inevitably will be over. Um, so yeah, no, but I leaned into a lot of content creation. I made a lot of videos, a lot of them in that
Mhm.
time. And that's when I started this America's Next Top Model series that I did not want to do.
And I've been wondering, like, when is this coming back? I'm looking forward to the next part. It's been a long time, you know?
It's the most difficult thing
Mhm.
about, like, the most difficult videos I've ever done.
Mhm.
Um, and they were very difficult for different reasons. I mean, they're like technically a little bit harder than the other videos I was doing, and it was actually really a fun, creative process for me. But it's really hard to take in so much of that negative content of like what was happening to these girls. I was like, I don't want to see this every day,
Yeah.
and I don't want to talk about this every day. Like we know the show was terrible. It did terrible things. At
Hmm.
this point, like I rather lean into my own joy.
Hmm.
It was also kind of like for me the thing about those videos is I don't want to talk about all those girls. That's a lot of girls to talk about, and
Yeah.
some
Yeah.
of them are not interesting at
Yeah.
all. Like,
Yeah.
so it became a little bit of a burden. It felt
Hmm.
like a job, and that's not why I started content creation or what my intention for it is.
Yeah.
I don't want it to ever feel like a job,
Hmm.
and I felt like, oh no, I gotta finish. And I was like, but I'll finish when I finish. I'll
Yeah.
finish when I finish. Like I
Hmm.
and it is that's the thing for me. Like um accepting that this is my brand, and I didn't want to become known as the America's Next Top Model guy.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I'll
I
be honest.
understand.
There was some, I
Hmm.
got one comment, like I haven't done the videos in months, right? I got
Hmm.
one comment like last month. He says, "Are you the America's Next Top Model guy? You do other content?" And I was like, "Yes. I got most of my support for the other content." Like,
Hmm. Hmm.
but it's that. I was like, "Oh no, I don't want to be associated as that." Like, you could call me that guy that just talks stupid about movies if you want to. I'd rather that.
Hmm.
But please don't associate me with that show. I was getting people sending me anytime somebody did an America's Next Top Model video, I got sent a a link to it, and then people are like, oh, I can't wait till they do a surviving Tyra documentary, like a survive.
Oh
Like,
gosh.
I don't want to be a part of that. Like, I don't have
Hmm.
to do with the show at
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
all. I want no parts of
Hmm.
that at all. That's not my business, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, that was like a little shift in my content. I don't know how we got to the content, but I
No.
was doing the content
Yeah. Yeah.
because
Yeah.
there was nothing else to do. There was no
Hmm.
auditions coming in, and for me, it was just like, okay, we need to get through this.
Hmm. No,
Yeah.
that makes sense, of course. So, what's the kind of plan you've been working towards now? Because a lot of people think, oh, you got that role, so then this should be it. And it's like, that's not how the industry works. Like, everyone
Right.
can get a job on a show or a film and then still be back to square one. So, what's been the process like since getting this? And now that it's come out as well.
Yeah. Well, since I filmed it, like I guess like there was the strike thing, but like I did sign with the agent, and
Hmm.
there were no auditions coming in, obviously due to the strike, but also there was just no auditions coming in, right?
Hmm.
And it wasn't until so we came into 2024, and I wasn't worried that things were going to be the same.
Hmm.
Um, because I knew something was going to change with the show, right? And now it doesn't mean it's like, oh, now you won an Oscar the next day, but things change, right? Because
Hmm.
I started getting auditions
Yeah.
with this season. I've been getting auditions now for actual shows, and I actually got pinned for another show. Um, so yeah, no, it was just honestly, I was trusting the process, but the truth is everything has changed in a good way, and I think it's because I'm just grateful for anything because I've know what it's like to be without.
Yeah.
And I've never panicked, and I've never worried, and I've never crumbled. But now it's like, okay, but you're here now. Like, oh, you getting multiple auditions
Hmm.
a week. Like, this is what you asked for. So embrace this.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, no, like it's been that. Like, just the next process is to keep auditioning and book. And
Mhm,
book is whatever I want to book as
mhm,
much as I want to book. I think the thing for me is that I'm also starting to lean into other parts of myself, like writing. Over the summer, I won a award for outstanding dramatic writing for a short at a film festival called the Michel Film Festival in Los Angeles, and because we I contributed writing to this project,
mhm,
and when that happened, I was like, oh, okay, I don't think of myself as a writer, but I do have multiple things that I'm working on, and yeah, no, acting is it's just a journey. That's all it is. It's a
mhm,
journey. It's a journey that you cannot completely plan, but if you continue on it, a lot of things will happen. And I think I looked at there was a picture of Ernie Hudson from Ghostbusters, and he's like 87. Everybody's like, he looks great for 87,
yeah,
and I was like, he does, right? But I was like, that's a testament of like being an actor and staying in the game because he always looked good. But y'all
mhm,
didn't talk about him as much as y'all are talking about him now. And it's not just because he's 87, it's because he
mhm,
stayed here
yeah,
and he's still getting that
mhm,
acknowledgement because he is still in the game. And I said, like, that's the best kind of career is somebody who just kind of is there
yeah,
forever.
mhm,
Um, doing whatever they're doing.
yeah,
And so for me, it's like that's the journey, that's the fun part. So for me, I'm just excited about what's coming next. I mean, I know there's bigger and better things are coming.
mhm,
Like and but it's also like enjoy them now.
yes.
Enjoy where you are. Yeah.
Yes, exactly, exactly. So I always ask actors this, what's your dream role? Like, what's the type of characters you really want to play?
I always when I always think of dream roles, I think I always kind of limited myself. Um and so I'm learning. I just did a
Mhm.
I'm taking a class, just to like sharp up the muscles, right?
Yeah.
And I did a scene from Game of Thrones. I've never seen Game of Thrones.
Same
Um,
here, same here. Don't worry, no
never
judgment.
seen it, but did a scene from it, and I would have
Mhm.
never thought to do a scene from that, but
Yeah,
uh, partner wanted to do it, and I was like, oh, I'm like, the possibilities are actually there. You
yeah,
just
yeah,
gotta believe you can. But for me, I my dream role isn't like some biopic. If the right one comes along, I guess the right one's gonna come along. For me, I want to be able to have um a role in a horror film where I get to cut my tongue off. Like I just want to do
Okay.
I want to do violent. I want to work with prosthetics. I want to be able
Okay.
to do that. That's a dream role that I want to do. And
Mhm.
everybody's gonna be like, why are you doing this? And I'm gonna be
Mhm.
like, because it just felt right to me. But
Okay.
so that, but I also want to work in different genres. My
Mhm.
dream role is to just honestly be able to flow through different genres and different
Yeah.
characters. I really want to do more theater again.
Mhm.
Uh, so yeah, I just want to have a career that goes between them all. Like
Mhm.
that's really my dream, and my dream role. But I do wanna have a lead role in an independent film
Yeah.
that surprisingly blows up. That I get for the low money
Mhm.
and but somehow it like blows
Mhm.
up, and it's like something like me playing. I want to play characters that are in service.
Okay.
So like
Mhm.
I would love to have a role as a counselor. I would love to have a role as a person who is there and trying to guide other people's journeys while also dealing with their own shit.
Okay.
I love that. Yeah.
No, that's nice. That's nice. I like that. Well, who knows? I could write you a role and you come fly over to London and be in this little gritty urban London drama.
Why not? I've been
Mhm.
watching. Listen, I watch everything. That's the.
Okay. So wait, so what British thing have you watched? This would be interesting.
Oh, oh.
Mm,
My favorite film, one of my favorite films is actually Mike Lee's Secrets and Lies.
okay.
Um, I love that film, but the reason I love it is because it was nothing like I had seen as British before. Like there's
Okay.
this like I was like they're grounded. It's like a grounded, gritty. messy kitchen sink drama. I was like, oh, okay, I like these.
Mhm.
So that film was really good. It just has really good acting. I love the
Yeah, yeah,
process of
yeah.
how they made it. I'm a really big fan of the filmmaking process
Mhm.
and film history, and so I have all this knowledge about all this stuff. So I love. It's not just like black films. That's the thing. Like I could talk about any movie, but like Secrets and
Mhm.
Lies, it was just. It's always stuck with me, and I also like that they had a very realistic scene as a barbecue where they really just did sit down and eat and just talk
Mhm.
about nothing.
Mhm.
There was a scene in the movie where for like there are these long takes in the movie. Yeah, I love that.
Yeah. No, that's nice. That's nice. I like that.
British though that I like absolutely love.
Mhm.
Probably, I just can't think of it now.
Okay. Okay, nice. So like as a fan of film and TV, and you that is your brand on TikTok, talking about the industry and stuff like that. So what are your favorite shows? And then we'll get into film, but what's like your favorite show?
Like of all time,
I'd say yeah, of all time, of all time.
what's on now?
Let's do past and present. Let's do
Okay.
past and present.
I feel like I don't watch as much TV as I like and
Mm-hmm.
know. Um, I really will go back and watch. Okay, this is not my favorite, but it's kind of what I'm currently rewatching because it makes
Okay.
I'm
Mm-hmm.
rewatching this very low budget local Christian Chicago television series called The Awakening that was filmed for like a budget of like $2. And it was filmed with the church members, and none of them can act at
Mm-hmm.
all. And it's terribly made, and it was made with VHS camera, all of that in the early.
Okay.
But why am I rewatching it? Because I am obsessed with the tenacity that it took to actually make this, and so yeah, I like that. But black little stupid sitcoms are something I'll just
Mm-hmm.
return to. You know,
Mm-hmm.
because I know the lines. The Simpsons. I like to watch things for um I guess more for television is more of like a connection to childhood, not even in a nostalgic way, but like to critique it from today's perspective. I like to laugh at the shows.
Okay. Yeah, 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 yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
fine, fine, fine. No, I get that. I mean, my comfort shows are like stuff I grew up watching as like a child or teenager. So like I've watched them 10,000 times. So it's stuff that can be on in the background, or I still laugh at the same old jokes, even if it hasn't aged well. I'm like, whatever, I still love it. That's me. So like, because like
No,
for us, like we grew up, especially Black Brits, we grew up watching so many like Black American sitcoms. So it's like that was also our representation because we didn't really have a lot of that. So we watched Moesha, even though that has aged terribly, and One on One and Sister Sister. I think that's probably one of my favorite shows from childhood because I love their character development. And I
uh,
think that that show, I always will go on about it because I feel like they did such a great job of transitioning it from kids show to young adult. And I don't think that gets spoken enough about. And I just love that as well. So
Sister
yeah.
Sister is
Hmm.
one of the best shows that has ever been on television, and a lot of
Yeah.
people will fight me on that. I
Yeah.
was somebody said, "What's your favorite black sitcom?" And I actually one time said Sister Sister, and they
Hmm.
looked at me like I was crazy. But I was like, Sister Sister is one of the only shows on television that stayed true to the message and its theme the entire way through. It did not switch
Exactly.
up what it was trying to represent. It did not switch up its like it's just general message. But like what I really appreciate about it is that it was what it was. Like
Yeah.
there was a silliness to the show, and I was like, this is not because it's for kids. It's
Hmm.
because this show is absurd. If
Yeah.
you and I love the earlier seasons. A lot of people are like, oh, I don't like them when they were younger. No.
Hmm.
No, the older seasons are even better because Lisa would be in one room and Pop in the other. The show was magical. Like
Yes. Yeah, yeah,
it
yeah.
was a magical realism kids sitcom in a way.
Hmm.
They talk to the
Hmm.
camera.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
a
That's
soap
what I
opera
love.
like Moesha.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's the thing. Like watching Mauricia as a kid, I was like, yeah, Mauricia, mo to that. And then you watch it back now and you're like, oh, this isn't funny. Like, like especially when Kim left, it really just took a dark turn as well. So yeah.
No, I think well, Niecy was a funny character. Niecy was funny.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. But again,
Give her enough to do.
yeah, yeah, exactly, exactly. And Girlfriends is my like favorite show. I have that on DVD. I even bought a multi-region DVD player so I could watch it all day, every day, because yeah, like literally because I love it, and that's my comfort show. I've probably watched it a million times.
That is a well-written show.
Yes, yes,
That's the
it
best
is.
part about it. It's actually there was some care into it. You can break it down and be like, these characters are toxic or problematic. Yeah, because
Yeah.
people are.
Thank you. Thank you. Oh my gosh, it annoys me so much. They're like, oh, they're so horrible. Yeah, like, everyone's always like the moral police and they know right from wrong. If that's the case, then we should be living in peace and harmony, the whole world. You know?
Yeah, no. I mean, and also, have you seen the way people respond when they get upset? I'm like, now you're becoming the person that you don't like.
Exactly. So yeah, like honestly. So yeah, I love Girlfriend. So that's yeah, I totally get that. So about your film, like, what's your favorite film?
Ooh, ooh. Okay, I have random favorite films.
Mm-hmm.
I love I think of films in terms of like decades. So I love 70s gritty films like that were telling those like character that were like those character study films, right?
Yeah.
And I love the ridiculousness of the 90s,
Mm-hmm.
the pulpiness of the 90s. So anytime I ever tell somebody this, I'm like, this is my favorite film, but there's a reason why. Um, my favorite film is called Tales from the Crypt presents Demon Knight. Have you seen it? Have you heard of it?
No.
Um, it's directed by Ernest Dickerson. It's a black man.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, it stars Billy Zane and William Sadler and Jada Pinkett before she became Jada Pinkett Smith. And what I really appreciate about the film, it has CCH Pounder in it. Like it's a dumb horror movie that's dumb, but the best part about it is
Mm-hmm.
it is the most representative of the world and the way that it actually is I've ever
Mm-hmm.
seen a film be.
Wow.
And I
Wow.
saw the film when I was 5 years old because my mom was like, rent this from pay-per-view to my sister, but then my mom left. So I was just sitting there watching this movie by myself at 5. I shouldn't have been. But I was. And can you imagine like seeing that at a young age and seeing a
Yeah.
black woman basically be the lead of the movie and be the one to save the
Yeah.
day?
Mm-hmm.
Like to see a child, and I'm like, oh, this is what it's supposed to be. This is what the industry is supposed to be. And so
Right.
that's how I started to look at it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's really kind of my favorite film, mostly because it represents something all films should be.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but my, I like I said, I love Secrets and Lies, and I really like, I appreciate the work of who is it? Who is it? Who do I
Mm-hmm.
love? I don't know. Like there's so many directors that I love. Like I love the work of William Friedkin. I love the work of uh I love Spike Lee films. I grew up watching them, so I appreciate every single one of them for whatever it's trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I don't have a favorite film, but I got a lot of films I love. A lot of them. Too many. Like I've seen pretty much everything.
Nice. No, 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 I get
I
that.
try to see everything
Mm.
that matters.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I don't necessarily see the Marvel movies,
No,
but yes.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So we spoke a lot about your TikTok anyway, but you have amassed over 100,000 followers on your TikTok. So where would you like to potentially take it, or is it still just something you do as a creative outlet?
I would love, and I think I said this before to
Mhm.
myself. I said, I would love for the worlds to kind of intersect in a way of the acting and the content creation. So, and it kind of oddly happened with
Mhm.
Genius, not in like a massive way, but it's like if it happens with that, it will
Mhm.
continue to. But what was happening was people were going to watch the show because they knew me from
Mhm.
TikTok. And then there were people that were watching the show that were coming to the TikTok and be like, "Is that you?"
Okay, okay.
People that like maybe recognized me but didn't follow me or know me. Like it was
Yeah.
a I think what I want to do is to just continue to be myself on social media and not really make it a job.
Yeah.
But it's a place you come to if you want to see a little bit more of how I actually think or
hmm
how I operate. You know, it's a place
Yeah.
for that. It's not really, I
hmm
don't know if I see it as, it's never been the thing for me.
Yeah.
It's a nice thing that
hmm
I do, and it's fun to be able to share my thoughts with people and see that other people think similarly sometimes. That's really all it is. I just be talking. That's the point. I'm just talking.
No, but you
Like,
say some great stuff. Like literally, I sent one of your TikToks today to one of my friends. I'm like, this is literally what we were talking about. I love what you bring. Like, you talk about not just the industry, but you share what's on your mind, and it's very relatable. And that's what people like about, people they follow. They want to hear that. They want to see and relate to somebody, and that's what you do.
I try to live in a not black and white way of thinking. Like I try
Yeah.
not to be black and white about my thinking. And I think what I
hmm
really do want to help usher into the internet in some capacity is the
hmm
idea of nuance, the
Yeah.
idea that nothing is right or wrong
hmm
for the most part, right? Nothing is
hmm
right or wrong. It's really just that your perspective is your perspective. And I'm getting
Yeah.
a lot of that through like the comments. I'm like, wow, you really don't understand what I'm saying. And
Yeah.
it's not because I'm confusing. It's
hmm
not because I'm not saying it clear enough. It's because you do not have you can't grasp
Yeah. Yeah.
what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And so I think like, that's what I enjoy doing sometimes. I kind of enjoy when there's like a big thing everybody's talking about coming
hmm
in and being like, none of this makes any sense at all.
Yeah.
Why is this a conversation?
hmm hmm
But can we challenge the very conversation?
hmm
And I love it because you get a lot of people
hmm
are like-minded. You get a lot of people that want to argue against it,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
then
yeah.
also, but what it is like you create the community that you need to create.
hmm
You don't need to. I know I would have more followers
hmm
if I spoke with a more "this is bad, this is good"
hmm
mentality about everything. I know
Yeah,
I
yeah.
would. I know I would have even more followers if I was just like, I hate this thing. I hate it. It's
hmm
all bad. And if you all hate it too, stand with me. And they'll follow.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
And I'm like, I'd rather not live in that space.
hmm
So
hmm
that's what it is for me. It's a place for me to just share my
hmm
mind and connect
hmm
with like-minded souls. And if people want to come and see who the guy on TV actually is, maybe you'll
hmm
come over.
So
Yeah.
what do you also think about, because I had a conversation the other day with like an aspiring filmmaker as well, and he's noticed that I've been taking my content creation more seriously, and he's done that as well. But he was a bit nervous about, doing content creation and how it might affect his career. Do you think there is anything to that?
I think sometimes I have thoughts that go through my head of like, should I say this? But I realize that nothing that is for me will ever be missed.
hmm
But I also think like it's about what you do and what you and how you do it. Like, do you
Yeah.
want to become a controversial figure that talks about the industry? In a lot of ways, I'm not a
hmm
controversial figure.
hmm
I barely swear in the videos. And it's not by intention because I could cuss a little bit more.
hmm
It's really just like I realize that this content is a reflection of something bigger than like um just me today.
Yeah.
And so I understand that like I don't want like what if I don't like I want something that I know I could be proud of, right? Um I don't think there really is a issue. I think there is if you don't have training as an actor. I think if you don't have training as an actor or as a filmmaker, as whatever, if you're not actually doing the work and
hmm
yet you do content creation and then you say you want to do it, of course, yeah, people are going to look at you crazy. But like, here's the
hmm
thing: I've always been an actor. I was an actor first.
Yeah.
Um, and I always say I think people can kind of tell I'm an actor from my videos,
hmm
even though I'm not talking about acting and I'm not necessarily acting.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, no, I don't think so. I think you have to be intentional about what kind of content that you want to create, though.
I agree.
I,
hmm
I feel like if you become known as somebody that does comedic skits, that's the kind of actor you are.
hmm
Because you're showing yourself as an actor. I think one of the best things I do is that I don't really show myself as an actor at all. I kind of show myself as a person.
Mhm.
So you really are, it's also very neutral because it's not like I give all my business away. So it is kind of like this, I'm a blank palette actually on
Mhm.
social media. I share my thoughts and the way I think, but I try not to show you all of my talent or the goods that I have
Mhm.
because I like to surprise people. You know?
Nice. No, I like that. I like that because I thought about that sometimes as well, like me doing content creation because I have direct opinions, but I've made sure just to say what I'm saying, but not blackball myself or go too harsh, in how I'm saying it or what I'm saying. And I just have kind of curated my content to just highlight what goes on in our industry, especially in the UK, and just spread information, the right information as well. But I just feel like there's so many opportunities that you can get from social media. So it's like, why would I just follow the same rules from 20 years ago when there's so many more opportunities? Like the internet has opened up that door, so I might as well just do that. And that's what I like about doing this. And it kind of just boosts your confidence. Yeah, there's so many opportunities and you just never know where it can take you. So I totally get that.
Yeah. And
100%.
also like I think it's your intention and why and how you're saying the things you're saying. Like
Yeah.
if it's coming from a place of love or actually respect,
Hmm.
um, you can talk about the quality of a film and
Yeah.
not 100% saying it. I think the thing a lot of times is that a lot of people create videos from a place of like, oh, this movie is trash and I want to trash it and I want to stop people from watching it. I like to
Hmm.
encourage people to watch anything I'm talking
Yeah.
about.
Hmm.
Like, you gotta see this. Go and watch the show. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
No, it's very important because I feel like everything is so subjective anyway. So if I didn't like something, I would still tell somebody, watch it because you might like it, or let's talk about it. And if you felt the same way that I did about whatever project, and I think that's important to have that kind of conversation. So yeah, I would never want to deter somebody from watching something because I would hate for someone to say that about my work. Like my work is like my kids. So it's like if you're coming for my
Right.
work, you're coming for me. So yeah, there's that. So I totally get that. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And then there's also that conversation that's
Hmm.
happening right now though about media literacy and
Hmm.
the criticisms that a lot of films and television are getting are because people have these very black and white ideas of what is right and wrong, and so they think
Hmm.
that depictions of those things inherently mean that that is an endorsement.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, there's a lot of things happening with media and like the way people are talking about it, and so I think
Yeah.
like adding a voice there
Hmm.
and actually in service of the industry, and it could never hurt you to be that
Yeah.
person.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's true. It's true. It's true. So, so what's next? Like, do you have anything coming up that you can share, or is it still just on the grind?
Yeah, well, we're on the grind.
Hmm.
There's things that like look promising or things that are
Hmm.
opening up. That's all it really is. It's just
Okay.
about grinding. Honestly, things started picking up for me in the last like
Hmm.
2, 3 weeks, so we'll really see soon.
Okay.
But no, yeah, we're on the grind.
Hmm.
I'm still creating my own things, working on my own projects, and um, being present in all of it.
Hmm. Nice. Well, I look forward to seeing what you do next. And when I come to LA, we can hang out as well, meet properly in person as well.
Yes, of course.
Yes, yes, yes. So cool. Well, thanks for coming on the show. And so tell everyone where they can find you, check out your work, Genius, because it is in the UK too, I'm sure. But yeah.
Genius, I think, yeah, it's available on Hulu and Disney Plus. Genius MLKX is the.
Hmm. Yeah.
If you want to skip to the last episode, if you just want to see me, but and then you
Hmm.
can follow me on TikTok and
Hmm.
Instagram at the Anwar Ali.
Hmm. Nice, great. Well, thanks again for coming on the show. Thanks, guys, for listening. You can follow me all on my usual socials. Twitter is at Kashif Podcast, or you can DM me on Instagram and TikTok at the Kashif Booth Podcast. Stay tuned for new episodes coming soon for this season. So yeah, thanks again.